As promised when we wrapped up the morning show about 40 minutes ago, because of everything going on, we said we'd be back at noon Eastern, and here we are. Time for another round of Soccer's in Session Live, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. We'll take a look at what happened on the girls' side, as we now know who's going to be playing in the title games. We'll get you caught up on that. But it is boys semifinal Friday, and we are officially in a no dilly, no dally zone. We're going to get visits from Decatur. We're going to get visits from Cass. We're going to get visits from Johnson-Gainesville. And as I said, Decatur first, that means one thing. And we bring in Derrick Burgess, the head coach of the Decatur Bulldogs and the CSD. Coach, thanks for dropping by in the noon hour. What am I getting you out of?
Well, give me some time to kind of think and reflect and share what we have over at Decatur High School.
And so are you dodging lunch or a classroom duty? What have I gathered you in from? What are folks covering for you right now?
So in my other life, I'm an IT professional. So it allows me a little bit of flexibility to take some time out and to speak about Decatur soccer, but still able to manage my responsibilities on campus.
There we go.
So I'm able to fit it in.
There we go. All right. So let's talk about what's been going on. We've had Decatur on the SDH network early this season, and you've made it through as a 4 seed. What has this ride been like for you guys here in the postseason?
We've kind of taken the title of road warriors. Every match has been on the road. We've been successful. We've been to most corners in Georgia. What we're doing right now is what we expected, to be honest with you. We knew we had the potential. We're a young group, but we thought if we can mature and gain maturity towards the end of the season, that what we're doing right now will be possible. And so said, so done.
Come through as the 4 seed. You go to Greenbrier. You put 5 on the board there. You go to Hamilton. You knock off Harris County. You win 2-1 there. And then you go to Chattahoochee and win it 1-0. Run through the Chattahoochee match for anybody that didn't have the chance to see it and what went down to give you the 1-0 win.
So the coaches got together and put together a game plan, and we knew on paper we would be slight underdogs. But we also felt it was a match that we can win. We thought we had to tweak the way in which we played just a little bit to give a little bit better of a matchup. We knew Chattahoochee's strengths in terms of how they really rely on set pieces. We also found some ways in which we thought that we can hurt them. And as we said to the boys, it's like, hey, we just need to be disciplined. We've played the game 50 times before we even got there. So when we got there, we had done this already 50 times. And to our credit, our boys, kept the discipline, fought deep, absorbed some pressure, and then took the opportunity when they was able to, and we was able to get a 1-0 result versus the number 14 team in the nation.
For those that haven't had the chance to see you play or haven't had the chance to catch up with your action here on the network, when things are going well for Decatur High, how would you best describe how things are breaking out offensively and defensively?
So for us, I don't think we have any one special player, right? So when you talk about Decatur, you want to talk about the team. So on any given night, we can have a different goal scorer, right? So, for example, our leading goal scorer this season is a sophomore. The player that scored the winning goal versus Chattahoochee is a freshman. The players that scored versus Harris County, one is a freshman, 2 are sophomores. So it can come from any angle. It just kind of depends on what opens up for us, who's in the right position. Even versus Harris County, we brought a player off the bench who probably hasn't been seen much of, and he changed the game for us a little bit. So we have a lot of different weapons that we can use depending on what the game calls for. So from us, to summarize it, what you'll see from us is not an individual, but a collection of talent.
What's it like to get key contributions from somebody, like an Isaac Klein, who's, dropped 19 and 13 for you this year? What's it like to have the underclassmen help out the upperclassmen immediately and just kind of step right in and everything be okay?
It's great to have. To have the depth, to have the versatility, to have the youth, to blend that with the experience that we've got. And our upperclassmen have been great. They've set great examples in terms of what it's like to be a good teammate, what it's like to be a good role model, and what it takes to be a good team. The one good spirit we have about our team this season is, it's no jealousy or envy. We got some players that play more than others, but those players that don't play are just as important because they've been able to help us replicate the things that we anticipate to see, and they've been vitally important. I think without those players, Decatur's not where they are today.
How long did it take for everything to get to full song when it came to the integration of the underclassmen and the upperclassmen, or is that still kind of a work in progress even to this point?
So from day one, the unity of the group was actually pretty tight. What's taken a little bit while to get going is just in terms of how we like to work as a team, in terms of from the coaching side, right? The understanding in terms of the preparation and the execution, right? And as they've matured as a team and how they looked at the game, we're now seeing better results and better performances on the field. But the bond that these players have off the field and how they treat one another has been fantastic from day one.
What has study hall been like getting ready for Cass? I mean, how many late nights have you had since the Chattahoochee win, or is it just, I'll look at something, I'll see a tendency, I kind of know, or are you more focused on yourself because of quick turns?
Well, one, I think it's one day too soon. Honestly, I would like at least one more day of preparation. After a big result versus Chattahoochee, you kind of need a day to kind of mentally kind of reset. And then once you take that day to reset, you only got 24 hours to get prepared. So preparation is looking at video, putting together a practice plan, putting together a game plan, teaching it, having the players ask questions, and have the players teach it, right? And for me, we need about at least 3 days to do that, and we've only really had 2. So I feel like we're going in one day short, but so has Cass, right? So the same problems we have is the same problems that they have. But it's the Final Four, and I think a lot of teams and a lot of players, a lot of coaches would like to have those same types of problems.
No doubt about it. For anyone who hasn't seen 5A across the board, how tough is 5A when it comes to a classification here in the state of Georgia?
Man, as we said to our players, when we got to the quarterfinals, you got some teams that's been kind of successful a little bit more than others over the last few seasons. But looking at the results, looking at some of the performances of the teams that were in the quarterfinals, we felt as a coaching staff and also as a team that any one of those teams can be in the Final Four in the finals. So it's pretty balanced well across the board in terms of competition. If it is a favorite, it's a slight favorite. I don't think it's a heavy favorite in what's going in. And I think that's good for, the sport. It's good for high school soccer, and is overall good quality on the field.
What's it been like to see the support there within the city schools of Decatur to see this run, and knowing there haven't been any home matches for you, you're having to do everything on the road, but what's it been like to see the support that you guys have gotten this year?
Well, it's great. I mean, the one thing about high school soccer that it delivers that club soccer doesn't, you get to play in front of your friends, your family, and it's almost like club versus country, right? So it's almost like represent your team for the World Cup versus representing your club team, where club teams can change pretty frequently for various reasons, but your country's your country, right? So with City of Decatur being so small and so knit, and the high school being right smack in the middle of the city, it's great. So the boys feel really great about walking in the hallway wearing their soccer gear. We get a lot of support from the other coaches and the other sports within the school, and that's always great to get that recognition, especially for the hard work that we put in.
When are you leaving?
We're leaving today at about 3:30.
Okay.
So I'll be meeting the boys at about 2, pregame meal, pregame meeting, and then hour and a half, hour 45-minute drive on the bus, and then time to get to work.
May the traffic in Atlanta on a Friday as you head north on 75 be with you, sir. Derrick, thanks for coming on with us. Thanks for being a great friend to SDH all season long. Good luck against Cass. And as I said, may the traffic be with you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. That's the Decatur side of things. And it is going to be, once again, 5A, as you fill out your brackets and pen, 5A on the right-hand side. Decatur has done it as a 4 seed. They have done it as a 4. One of those 4 seeds, and we've talked about 4 seeds. Northside Columbus was a 4 seed. Riverwood Boys and Girls was a 4 seed, making it deep into the playoffs. And now you see what's going on with Decatur and Cass. They've done it all on the road, at Greenbrier, in Hamilton against Harris County, at Chattahoochee, now right-hand side of the bracket in 5A, and they're going up against Cass. 14-5-3 Decatur, 4-2 in region play, still ranked 35th in the state. in 5A, which shows you the depth of everything that's been going on. They've got a 4-game win streak heading into this one. And in 22 matches, they've only given up 25 goals. So it's 3 over 22. It's, like 1.1, 1.18, 1.2 per match. And they've scored 93 goals in 22 matches. So 4.5 on average to like 1.8 when you're looking at things offensively and defensively for them. Cass comes into this one at 15-3-1 for the matchup coming up at 7 o'clock in White, Georgia. Because, when you're traveling north, I think it's exit 2, was it 293 or 296 is the Cassville White Road exit. That's the one you take when you pass the brewing plant on the right-hand side in the northbound lanes as you're heading north. So that's where White is. Cass technically is in Bartow County in the town of White. White is where Cass is. And so looking forward to this particular matchup on the right-hand side of the bracket. But Cass, 15-3-1, ran through region at 5-0, ranked 25th in the state of Georgia according to the Max Preps poll. And so you have number 34 going up against number 25. And so really looking forward to this one in 5A and hopefully getting the chance to catch up with folks coming up in short order, and we can break things down from the Cass perspective. Looks like we're also going to be catching up with Frank Zamora from Johnson-Gainesville, and Ben Grassmyer might be able to catch up with us and see what's going on with what's going on around the state. So as promised, time to catch up with things on the Cass side. And, Coach Fitzgerald, Coach John Nelson here in the studio. Thanks for dropping by. What am I stealing you away from, lunch hour or class?
It's lunch hour right now. So, it's good timing.
All right. So 15-3-1. When this season, if I had told you that you would have been 15-3-1 and that you would have been able to get to where you are, 5-0 in region play, getting ready for this particular matchup, what would you have told me if I'd said that was going to be the situation from day one of a training camp?
I think we would have said you've been close. I think the biggest surprise maybe was the 5-0 in region. Dalton is always a monster in the state. And, I don't think they've lost region in 20 years up until this year. So outside of that, we had an idea that we were going to be a pretty good team. I had essentially everybody coming back from last year. So, we made the schedule such that we were going to play some difficult teams, and, a couple of them are still around in the Final Four of teams we played on the schedule this year. So, but to be 15-3, that's maybe a little higher than I would have predicted, but
you'll take it, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a good ride so far.
When you look at the playoff run,
and
you see how things were. For those that are filling in their brackets out in pen, it's upper right-hand section going up against Decatur. With you had a home match against Cambridge. You win it 2-1. Chapel Hill came. You had a big margin victory there. And then you go on the road to Tucker, and you beat Tucker out of DeKalb County 3-2. When you look at your playoff run, what has stuck out to you?
I think resiliency. I think the thing that I'm most proud about this team is it's easy to win when you're playing your best. I think good teams win when things are going well, and you can play. I feel like great teams find a way to get it done even when things are kind of going against them. And we had several tough breaks in the Tucker match. Cambridge is a really, really strong defensive team. You can look at their season. I mean, they held everybody down. Some really good teams, Chattahoochee and Kell, and really strong defensive team. And so I think the thing that stands out about the run is just the resiliency to overcome things, to play big in big moments. So, it's just been a collective great effort from really everyone.
From someone who hasn't, or for someone who hasn't had the chance to see you play this year.
Yeah.
And, obviously going up against Dalton, I know that a lot of folks probably would have you in the bullseye or the spot shadow or what have you. It's like, oh, well,